Hello, Mamboloan, and this is my presentation about climate change, which is one of our requirements in the GEC 107 or Science, Technology, and Society subject. Everyone seems to be familiar with the words climate change, but what is climate change really all about? According to United Nations report, climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperatures and weather patterns. Such shifts can be natural due to changes in the sun's activity or large volcanic eruptions. But since the 1800s, human activities have been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to the burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. Furthermore, at present day climate change includes both global warming, the ongoing increase in global average temperature, and its wider effects on Earth's climate. Climate change in a broader sense also includes previous long-term changes to Earth's climate. What are the causes and effects of climate change? One is greenhouse gases, which are part of Earth's atmosphere. This is why Earth is often called the Goldilocks planet. Its conditions are just right, not too hot or too cold, allowing life to thrive. Part of what makes Earth so amenable is its natural greenhouse effect, which maintains an average temperature of 15 degrees Celsius or 59 degrees Fahrenheit. However, in the last century, human activities, primarily from burning fossil fuels that have led to the release of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, have disrupted Earth's energy balance. This has led to an increase in carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and ocean. The level of carbon dioxide in Earth's atmosphere has been rising consistently for decades and traps extra heat near Earth's surface, causing temperatures to rise. Another cause is the reflectivity or absorption of the sun's energy. Activities such as agriculture, road construction, and deforestation can change the reflectivity of the Earth's surface, leading to local warming or cooling. This effect is observed in heat islands, which are urban centers that are warmer than the surrounding, less populated areas. One reason that these areas are warmer is that buildings, pavement, and roofs tend to reflect less sunlight than natural surfaces. While deforestation can increase the Earth's reflectivity globally by replacing dark trees with lighter surfaces such as crops, the net effect of all land use changes appear to be a small cooling. Another cause is the reflectivity or absorption of the sun's energy. Activities such as agriculture, road construction, and deforestation can change the reflectivity of the Earth's surface, leading to local warming or cooling. This effect is observed in heat islands, which are urban centers that are warmer than the surrounding, less populated areas. One reason that these areas are warmer is that buildings, pavement, and roofs tend to reflect less sunlight than natural surfaces. While deforestation can increase the Earth's reflectivity globally by replacing dark trees with lighter surfaces such as crops, the net effect of all land use changes appear to be a small cooling. Another cause is variations in solar activity. Changes in the sun's energy output can affect the intensity of the sunlight that reaches the Earth's surface. While these changes can influence the Earth's climate, solar variations have played little role in the climate change observed in recent decades. 20 satellites have been measuring the amount of energy the Earth receives from the sun since 1978. These measurements show no net increase in the sun's output, even as global surface temperatures have risen. Generating power. Generating electricity and heat by burning fossil fuels causes a large chunk of global emissions. Most electricity is still generated by burning coal, oil, or gas, which produces carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide, powerful greenhouse gases that blanket the Earth and trap the sun's heat. Globally, a bit more than a quarter of electricity comes from wind, solar, and other renewable sources, which as opposed to fossil fuels, emit little to no greenhouse gases or pollutants in the air. Cutting down forests. Cutting down forests to create farms or pastures, or for other reasons, causes emissions, since trees, when they are cut, release the carbon they have been storing. Each year, approximately 12 million hectares of forests are destroyed. Since forests absorb carbon dioxide, destroying them also limits nature's ability to keep emissions out of the atmosphere. Deforestation, together with agriculture and other land usages, is responsible for roughly a quarter of global greenhouse gas emissions. Manufacturing goods. Manufacturing and industry produce emissions, mostly from burning fossil fuels to produce energy for making things like cement, iron, steel, electronics, plastics, clothes, and other goods. Mining and other industrial processes also release gases, as does the construction industry. Machines used in the manufacturing process often run on coal, oil, or gas. And some materials, like plastics, are made from chemically sourced from fuel cells. The manufacturing industry is one of the largest contributors to greenhouse gas emissions worldwide. Using transportation, most cars, trucks, ships, and planes run on fossil fuels. That makes transportation a major contributor of greenhouse gases, especially carbon dioxide emissions. Road vehicles account for the largest part due to the combustion of petroleum-based products like gasoline in internal combustion engines. But emissions from ships and planes continue to grow. Transport accounts for nearly one quarter of global energy-related carbon dioxide emissions, and trends point to a significant increase in energy use for transport over the coming years. Generating power. Generating electricity and heat by burning fossil fuels causes a large chunk of global emissions. Most electricity is still generated by burning coal, oil, or gas, which produces carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide, powerful greenhouse gases that blanket the earth and trap the sun's heat. Globally, a bit more than a quarter of electricity comes from wind, solar, and other renewable sources, which, as opposed to fossil fuels, emit little to no greenhouse gases or pollutants in the air. Destructive storms have become more intense and more frequent in many regions. As temperatures rise, more moisture evaporates, which exacerbates extreme rainfall and flooding, causing more destructive storms. The frequency and extent of tropical storms is also affected by the warming ocean. Cyclones, hurricanes, and typhoons feed on warm waters at the ocean surface. Such storms often destroy homes and communities, causing deaths and huge economic losses. Now, most frequently asked question: how badly is the country affected? Let us watch and listen to the news by the WION channel.
Farmers in the Philippines are left devastated due to the extreme temperatures that have put their crops and livelihood at risk. The temperature in the capital region is soaring to 37 degrees Celsius, leaving them unable to produce quality fruits or vegetables that has taken toll on their income. Scientists are attributing the drier land conditions and baking temperatures to the El Nino phenomenon. It's a climate pattern being observed worldwide, typically associated with increased heat in some parts of the world, while enormously heavy rainfalls in others.
When the plant starts to grow, it takes longer to get bigger because of the extreme heat. Unlike during rainy season when it is colder, it grows much faster. You can also notice the difference in appearance of the plant when it's hot. The semblance is very different.
The United Nations Weather and Climate Agency has raised concerns that Asia has been warming at a rapid pace. Philippines particularly ranks among the countries most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. According to Greenpeace, the areas that are hitting the danger level mark on the heat index in Philippines are on a steady rise. Some have shattered the previous record, reaching up to 50 degrees Celsius on the scale. For all the latest news, download the WeOn app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
This is a true-to-life scenario of a landslide that happened in the province of Benguet. The video shows two people running from the approaching wall of mud and rock.
Laissez. Laissez.
The footage shows the storm surge sweeping slide 16 into the town of Hernani on the island of Samar. The pictures were taken by a charity worker from the top story of a boarding house, where 6 people were taking shelter.
It's amazing footage. It shows the force of the storm surge, and that's the onslaught of water caused by the low pressure and the extremely high winds just sweeping into the town of Hernani on the island of Samar. Those incredible pictures. It looks almost like a tsunami hitting, taken by a charity worker from the top story of a boarding house where 6 people were taking shelter.
Aside from drought, climate change has also brought these devastating effects, which led to a tremendous loss of families and loved ones, infrastructure, economy, and a lot more. Due to these effects, more activist groups have been organized and protests have been formed that seek justice and help from what they call sleeping government. Here is one of the resolutions that I have thought of in addressing climate change. Making sure that when drought or water scarcity, farmers must use drought-resistant plants. Construction of reservoirs or dams is a must to store water during rainy seasons. Farmers must use safe alternatives when farming and, if possible, use technology in saving water. The government must urge the citizens to participate in programs like drills to prevent any casualties. Planting of trees is a must for water levels to not rise that much during storms, and develop plans especially in worst-case scenarios. Lastly, farmers must use GMOs if possible in planting to resist drought or floods for a safer harvest. Use technology like apps that notice sudden patterns in weather to make plans on what to do to their crops, and collection of water from rains to water plants during drought. In conclusion, I want to share with you this video, and I hope that it will leave a big impact and realization on what is happening around us.
Right now, we're facing a man-made disaster of global scale, our greatest threat in thousands of years, climate change. If we don't take action, the collapse of our civilizations and the extinction of much of the natural world is on the horizon. The world's people have spoken. Their message is clear. Time is running out.
The amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere now is 50% higher than it was in 1900. And not only are we piling in more and more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, but we are chopping down the forests of the earth at a great rate. And the forests themselves are the most efficient consumers of carbon dioxide that there are on Earth. We're going to destroy the ground because the soil of a rainforest isn't very good. We are actually tampering with the climate of the Earth and with the very atmosphere that we breathe. When we talk about the disappearance of the ozone layer, we don't know what will happen when the ozone layer goes. The world has become so fragile that we cannot subject the Earth to the tortures we can now inflict upon it. When we talk about the greenhouse effect, we're talking about something that affects the entire Earth. And these problems are life and death problems. They go to the root of the viability of the planet itself. If there's one thing that is biologically certain about the human species, is that it is a human species, one species.
If we don't stop the destruction of our natural world, nothing else will matter. Simply put, if we don't protect nature, we can't protect ourselves.
The only way we can solve a problem is by a human solution. Never can we sit back and wait for miracles to save us. Miracles don't happen. Sweat happens. Efforts happens. Thought happens.